Yo, what's up, TPL Nation? Welcome back for another week of primetime action. We're back with the playoffs match again with Mark versus Matthew. Carolina Conkeldurrs versus the Tracers. I'm not here alone, though. I got my boy Dan with me. Go ahead, Dan.
What's up, y'all? Pretty excited here to take a look at this match today. We got two really skilled battlers going against each other with some pretty powerful teams. Personally, from my experience, I've never played against Matthew, but I can tell you that Marcus is definitely one of the best battlers in the TPL, and he was one of my picks to make the finals. So I'm expecting a lot out of him. That being said as well, Matthew has been nothing but dominant since joining the league, and his record since joining shows that. So hopefully we're in for a banger today.
Yeah, I totally agree. I took 2 L's from Matthew this season, so he's definitely more than competent holding his own. So as far as the team matchup, we did see that Marcus left the Heliolisk and Matthew left Gastrodon at home. And we're going to see the Vikavolt and the Venusaur come out. So what do you think about this league, Dan?
Well, it's pretty interesting because, Venusaur you would think has a decent matchup into the Vikavolt with Sun Up and Weather Ball, but without that, it can still be hit pretty hard by this Pokemon. Obviously, Vikavolt has that base 145 special attack, and we actually see the Thunder Wave come out here, which is going to cripple that Venusaur, making it less effective as a sweeper. It is interesting to see the screens come out of Venusaur. That's not something you see very often.
Wow, yeah, so we are going to see more of a support role from Vikavolt here, getting up the webs as well. Venusaur going for screens. And I got to think that possibly this Venusaur was set out to hard counter the Dragouge, possibly. But we'll see what each of these guys want to do. Obviously, Venusaur paralyzed now. We see the Volt Switch come out. And what do you think going through Marcus's head right now? What's his end game right now? Obviously, leading with Venusaur is not something we normally see.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because Venusaur is typically the Pokemon on his team that is going to be the win condition. That's definitely the big end game sweeper. And it's interesting to see a set here that comes through without Weather Ball because of the Bronzong being able to wall it. No Earth Power either. So it can't even really hit Dragalge is a little bit concerning for the prospects of this team. So I'm interested to see where Marcus takes this.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting set on the Venusaur. And he brought both of his flying Mons. We do see the Psychic come out into the Mandibuzz. We had seen the Sludge Bomb go into the Bronzong. So some nice predictions going on early in this game. And we do see the Zong switch out again. And the Vikavolt's going to come out, so obviously going to be able to put a lot of pressure onto this Mandibuzz.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. We are going to see the Defog come out, so it'll be interesting to see if the Vikavolt decides to try and get those webs back up, or if it's just going to click Volt Switch for momentum, maybe Bug Buzz to try and get a neutral hit on the Venusaur switching in.
Yeah, we're going to see
actually see the Goodra come out here, so that will be very effective at walling that. Will take a Thunder Wave, however, which, of course, is very annoying.
Yeah, Matthews really wants to just slow this team down from Marcus here, probably to get the speed advantage on everything. I know certain Mons he doesn't like to run. I don't think he's running a Choice Scarf this week. He really likes to stay away from the Choice Scarf Heracross for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it definitely makes sense wanting to get webs up and get paralysis on a bunch of Marcus's Mons. If he is running something like a Bandit or Swords Dance Heracross, it just makes it so much easier with Heracross's sort of middling speed tier to be able to deal with those Pokemon.
Absolutely, and we're actually going to see it come out, and this is going to be a lot of offensive pressure from this Heracross. This Mon was one of the hardest Pokemon for me to prep for and my team, just because it does have great coverage like Knockoff, Mega Horn, Close Combat, and even Aerial Ace to allow it to Dynamax and start boosting its speed with Airstream.
Definitely appears, however, that this Goodra has some physical defense investment on it, because it takes that Knockoff pretty easily, and it's actually able to do a very good chunk back with Fire Punch. So not sure if going into Heracross immediately was the play, to be honest. that GUI is going to make it even harder for Heracross to do what it wants, and it's going to force a switch out after losing about 70% of its HP. So not really a great play there. And unfortunately, the Goodra gets paralyzed there, as I believe it was going to be going for a Draco Meteor. So that is unfortunate. Would have been very good for Marcus to get that chip damage onto the Dragalge, which is of course very specially bulky.
Yeah, I think his next step really, if I'm Matthew, is just to keep weakening this team. I believe there should still be a light screen up. We did see the reflect drop, but I'm really interested to see how Matthew is going to continue to weaken this team as we see the knockoff get locked in.
And, it's a good choice. It's going to, cripple whatever it hits. Actually knocks off a Dragon Fang there, which is super interesting. Don't see a lot of items like Dragon Fang. I think the most of those kind of items you would see would be like a Charcoal or Sharp Beak. But definitely interesting. You're going to see a Roost come out here. So, Mandibuzz doing Mandibuzz things. Same thing it always does. Click and Roost.
Exactly. Just here to eat up the hits. And he does get a lucky poison on that.
That is pretty useful. You maybe would wonder if he might opt to Dynamax here and start going for some Max Ooze boost, trying to get some special attack and break through the defensive core of Marcus's team.
Yeah, I think both these players are just focusing on chipping down the opponent and maybe working towards some kind of an end game here. We are going to see the Mandibuzz switch out into the Venusaur, I do believe. So, going to be able to take this poison move pretty well, I'd imagine. Oh,
it actually takes quite a lot. Now, that is adaptability Dragalge, you got to remember as well. So,
right.
Going to be hitting like a truck.
Exactly, and that's going to be the Venusaur down. So, I know that's going to be huge for Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, Vikavolt can just kind of pretty freely Volt Switch throughout this team once he gets some more damage onto that Goodra, and that Goodra's already paralyzed, so it's not really a reliable check with that paralysis. We are actually seeing the Calm Mind Xatu come out here, which is very cool. Xatu, not really a Pokemon that's used offensively a lot, so I like to see Marcus bringing that out.
And also we see the Zong come in, and I'm very interested to see what the Zong goes for, because he does build this to really counter his opponent's teams throughout the seasons.
You'd have to imagine this is heat-proof Zong, right?
Yeah, I definitely say heat-proof. I wouldn't really worry about ground moves too much from Marcus's team, as we do see the Dynamax come out from the Xatu, so this is going to be a +1 move into the Bronzong. Can Bronzong stall this Dynamax out?
Well, it's going to take a big hit, heat-proof or not here. That +1 is going to do a lot. Didn't get a look at the item on Xatu there, but could be a Life Orb or something, making it stronger.
I do believe it is Life Orb, and wow, we're going to see Zong
going to take it out.
Yeah, barely lives that. He's going to get up the sun, powering up that Max Flare even more. And we see a Meteor Beam come out.
Very cool.
Yeah, I bet this is Power Bronzong too.
Not expecting this to do a crazy amount of damage unless it gets a crit or something.
Yeah, I guess.
Because of that +1 special defense and Dynamax. But actually does a pretty good chunk. That's valuable.
Yeah, I would have pegged it around 40%, but it's nice that it landed about 55 or 60 there.
Max Airstream is going to come out, so this Xatu's going to keep getting those boosts. I didn't check the Psychic Stab move that it has, but if it's stored power, that could definitely be very interesting. Stored power is, of course, very hard to deal with a Pokemon that is snowballing boosts like this Xatu is.
Yeah, especially with this Xatu potentially having Roost after the Dynamax, maybe to heal itself up. But we'll see what Matthew decides to respond with here.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see here. So he actually opts to go out into his Ninetales. So he's going to reset the weather there. You would think that if Ninetales Dynamaxed, it should be able to live and attack here. Ninetales is actually not super bulky, but its bulk is definitely underrated, I think, especially on the special side.
I definitely agree with that.
It's actually quite nice.
Yeah. So I wonder what he's going to do here, possibly Dynamaxing, or maybe he thinks he could just live it naturally, set up Veil.
Could be Focus Sash as well.
Also true. Oh, and we're going to see the double come out back into the Vikavolt.
Okay, well, Vikavolt drop into this boy right now.
Absolutely. Not going to live that Max Flare.
That will get rid of the Sun again when he brings Ninetales back in. And Dynamax should be over by then, so the 90 base power Heat Wave compared to the 130 Max Flare shouldn't be able to knock out the Ninetales there if he does opt to Dynamax.
Yeah. Do you think this Xatu can outspeed Ninetales with only one speed boost here?
Yeah, Xatu's what, base 95?
Oh,
right?
wow.
So it's 317 at Timid, so at +1 it should outspeed.
Okay.
It would be outspeeding at Modest.
Nice. I did not know Xatu was that fast.
And my boy Speedy, former Toronto Star Raptor, Xatu.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Matthew's definitely in sort of a downward position here with the Heat Wave threatening from the Xatu. And I'd bet that Marcus is actually doing a calc right here.
It's interesting to see, too, that he does have Psyshock as well.
Oh.
So he can hit that Dragalge very hard if he's able to knock out the Ninetales here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like Marcus forgot what nature he was for a second. But it's okay, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, really close game. It's 5-4 right now.
Looks like, Marcus is going to preserve the Xatu here, which is always smart, you know, especially because that was an Assault Vest Torkoal, so really just does a great job of walling this Ninetales.
Yeah, I think this... Oh, and we actually see the Ice Shard come out. Interesting.
That's very interesting, very interesting. You have to imagine then that the thought of the Dynamax Xatu and the Dynamax Venusaur was definitely in Matthew's mind there. He was definitely like, oh, I don't want to get swept by these guys. I'm bringing a super effective priority move.
Exactly. I definitely think that's what that was for. But Torkoal gonna easily scare out this Ninetales here. Makes sense. We do see the Earthquake.
Oh,
Nice. The prediction possibly into the Dragalge.
Big play by Marcus. You love to see that. Love to see the physical Torkoal as well. Always see special Torkoal, but people don't realize I'm pretty sure its physical attack is the same as its special attack. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And that Earthquake comes through, hits it on its weaker defensive side, and is going to do a lot of damage. Just giving Marcus so much agency in this matchup.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually running a mixed attack with the Assault Vest. Very interesting to see.
Hey, that adaptability is still hitting hard, but Torkoal takes it, and he's going to pick up the KO onto the Dragalge here.
Yeah, and just like that, it's 4-3. So Matthew running out of options here. We'll see if he can turn this match around somehow with this Torkoal in the sun, as we do see the Ninetales come back to reset that hail.
But now the thing is what can this Ninetales do versus the Torkoal?
Not a whole lot. I would think in this position, his best option would possibly just to go and get Veil up. That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what he opts to do. He still has his Heracross in the back, correct?
Yes, he does. It's on very low HP, but he does have that option.
Well, if that is like a choice band Heracross, he might be able to do something still in this end game here. The only issue is that it would depend on Xatu's speed tier, so I think it would actually have to be Scarf Heracross, unless he can preserve his Ninetales. But this Blizzard's not going to be enough to KO the Torkoal with that Assault Vest. He's just too thick.
Yeah, so that's telling me that possibly this Ninetales didn't have a fairy move, and we do see Ninetales go down. Wow.
Well, see, even there, if it was a fairy move, it would have been resisted as well, right?
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Blizzard was his best play in case he gets a lucky freeze or something.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Special attack drop could have been nice, but he already overheated, so special attack wasn't the problem. Do you see the Whimsicott come out here? But, that Torkoal packing Gyro Ball.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what his plan is for this.
Yeah, you'd want to hope it's like a Calm Mind Whimsicott or something, but it's a little bit worrisome. Maybe we see something cool like Nature Power, Misty Terrain type set, but definitely interested to see what happens here. Also, has Matthew used his Dynamax yet?
No, he has not. He does have that in his back pocket.
So could we be seeing the legend of the Dynamax Whimsicott here?
Oh my
we
gosh.
Are.
And you called it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think, probably ideally would have liked to have Dragalge Dynamax, but Whimsicott actually is not bad into Marcus's team. It has the coverage to deal with most of the Pokemon on his team. So this could be interesting. And it's actually going to go for a max Airstream.
And it does break through the Mandibuzz. Nice.
So now this is very interesting, because if you look at the rest of Marcus's team, it's pretty beaten up. And that is a Life Orb Whimsicott too. Probably, I would imagine, Modest as well, if he's going for max Airstreams. And if you look at the rest of his team, I think unless he's got Sludge Bomb on his Goodra, I think they all just lose to Whimsicott, to be honest.
Yeah, it's looking really rough. However, that Conk is running that Focus Sash, so that we may see that come in play. That. Yeah, we may see that come into play, because even with Whimsicott having double HP, it's not going to be taking too many hits.
I think I saw as well that the Conk there had counter, so this could depend as well on the move, but obviously counter is not going to do anything to the special attacker Whimsicott.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a Sash Conkeldurr for a Dynamax Heracross, maybe, with counter.
Yeah, that was likely Marcus's thought, in case like a Moxie Heracross gets out of control. Gonna see another max Airstream come out. Whimsicott's just gonna keep on boosting up. But if you look at this, we were talking about how it was getting bad for Matthew here, but if you look at the way he played, the way he sort of wore down most of his team throughout the game, it is definitely, while the momentum looked like it was on Marcus's side, it definitely was a smart play to just keep like plugging away, keep chipping away at his team, and it looks like it's paying off for him. I imagine Goodra will probably maybe live one hit. Its special attack is ridiculous, or special defense is ridiculous, so it could probably live, but it's looking a little tough for Marcus. We'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, it looks like Marcus's play is just going to let Xatu go down and then try to attempt to push through the rest of Matthew's team after the Dynamax with the Conkeldurr and the Goodra.
Yeah, so we're going to see that will be the Dynamax ending as well. So, like, I don't think a Moonblast is going to KO Goodra. Probably would KO Conkeldurr depending on the spread. And we are going to see Aurora Veil wear off as well, which could definitely come to bite Matthew in the ass here.
Yeah, it's definitely could be anyone's game here. If it's pretty much, can Marcus survive these hits, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
We are actually going to see the timer come out. I hope that doesn't play into this.
The dreaded clock. I don't think it will. I think it all depends on how much the Whimsicott can do here to Goodra. I think if Whimsicott's able to KO Goodra or get it, yeah, I think it probably needs to KO for Matthew to be able to win this game. And I think otherwise, Marcus should be able to win if his Goodra lives here. Fire Punch should be able to take out the Whimsicott. And yeah, I think that's the end game that we're looking at here. I hope we don't see that dreaded timer.
Yeah, I really think it's going to come down. This Moonblast probably not going to kill Goodra.
Yeah, and Goodra hangs on there. I wonder if that's a roll, potentially, because that was pretty close.
And we don't see the para.
Fire Punch does come out, does KO the Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember what Matthew had in the back.
Heracross.
Oh, Heracross. Ooh,
yep.
Heracross. But we do still have that Sash counter Conkeldurr in the back.
Yeah, I think the Sash is going to win it for him, whether or not it comes out. We do see the close combat pick up the kill on the Goodra, but I think that might be all she wrote, man.
Yeah, I think it's so. speed drop is going to come out as well. So that should be, barring any some sort of, glitch in the game, that should be game going over to Marcus.
Yeah, I actually think Mach Punch it might just kill. Oh, possibly not. Forgot it was resisted.
He's got a click counter for the style points. You already know.
Already.
Yeah. He's got a, just a little quick flex before we get to the finals.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So definitely congratulations to both these battlers. They really put in a lot of work. Narrow 1-0 victory for Marcus. So it's going to be the Carolina Conkeldurrs versus the Pittsburgh Pichus.
Yeah, love the way that Marcus played that end game. He really did a good job at stalling out the Dynamax. They're not like panicking and going into Gudra early or going into Conk early. He made the right plays, played around the Conkeldurr end game, which was smart. And congrats to Marcus. I think on the last podcast I was on, I said it was going to be Eddie and Marcus in the finals. So, a little clairvoyance there, I guess. But congrats to both those battlers. Congrats to Matthew as well on a great season. Like I said before he came in, he's been dominant since he came into the league, and I'm excited to see what he can do next season.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for coming out and doing this recording with me, Dan. It was great to have you on. I know the league really missed you while you were gone, and I can't wait to see this final match between Eddie and Marcus. Anything else you'd like to say before we cut out, man?
No, other than just thanks for having me. Glad to be back.
Awesome. Well, that's it, you guys. We'll see you again another time for some more primetime action, and I'll turn it over to Baker. Thanks, guys. Have a good night, TPL Nation.